This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, July 28th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
Welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home automation, home technology, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible. Which of the three? This is your mission. Go see one of them. Which one did you see, Gavin?
Mission Impossible.
TJ, should I even ask?
Nah, I definitely didn't see anything, so don't ask me.
Well, I went and saw Barbie, so...
Of course.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
It was actually a very fun movie, so I recommend going see it because it was quite hilarious. It was very...
I've been hearing that about the movie, that it's not what you think it is, and it's a good movie.
Yeah, no, it's definitely... it definitely meets your expectations from the previews, but it meets them squarely and knows the movie knows what it is. The movie kind of makes fun of itself the entire way through because it's a movie about a doll. Like it's silly. One of the funniest scenes that I just laughed out loud was like Margot Robbie's crying. She's like, "I'm so ugly," and it's like Helen Mirren does the voiceover, and she's like, "Note to the writers, Margot Robbie's probably not the person to read this line," or something like that. And it's like, yeah, that's probably right. But it's a very funny movie. There's all sorts of cultural references for us millennials and Gen X, Gen Z, whatever, who have grown up with these toys and during this time. So very, very fun movie. I wanted to go see Oppenheimer. I guess I still have a little bit of time to go see it at the IMAX before, it goes away. Because I'm sure it'll leave here in Florida. They'll be like, "Nah, we're not doing this IMAX thing anymore that everybody wanted to see. We're going to do something else, like, I don't know, James Cameron movie or something. I don't know."
Yeah, I was kind of interested in seeing Oppenheimer in 70 millimeter, and I was like, I wonder what the closest theater to me would be. It's 3 hours away, so safe to say I'm not going to see an IMAX 70 millimeter.
I'll go see it on whatever the regular, like, cheap IMAX, the cheap seat IMAXs. I'm not going to go see it in 70 millimeter. I don't really care that much.
Like the Wednesday afternoon special, is that what you're talking about? Like the cheap one?
No, like we have an IMAX. I think it's a digital IMAX here. Like, and then, there is definitely a difference in the picture and sound and the screen size. So I'll go see that. I know there's the 70 millimeter, like, IMAX that all the people who have decided, that record players are great, like that they want to go see it on the analog film being projected through a light and that kind of thing. I don't care. I'm not, my eyes are not that good. So I'll go see it on a normal screen with a decent sound system. And they have a bar there, so I can get drinks. So there's that. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't think you're missing anything on the 70 millimeter. I've heard they've had a lot of problems with that, actually, where they've just stopped working, towards the end of the movie and stuff like that. So maybe it's a good idea that you don't go see it, so you can actually watch the whole movie.
Well, they made the film too long for the actual disc that spins around with the, that holds the entire film. And like, they were posting all these pictures like, we 3D printed, and we'll get to this in the future, Gavin, but this is maybe something you can add to your list. We 3D printed like these little clips that stand on the end to add the extra 2 inches we need for this 11-mile long film about Oppenheimer and blowing up a bomb. So I don't know. I'm excited. I want to go see it. It also the thing runs off of Palm Pilot. I don't know if you guys saw the article to that, but like the IMAX theaters all run off of Palm Pilot from like 2001. So that's fun fact.
I'm learning something new every time. Like I just thought it was just a movie on a big screen, and now I want to go see it.
No, the IMAX theaters actually typically have a different sound system. I think some of the bigger ones even have like a mechanical subwoofer, or at least they used to. I don't know if they still do, but those are rumbly little subwoofers. And the one I have here actually hurts my ears. I don't like it that much because it hurts my ears, but it's very loud. So if I'm going to go see a movie about a bomb, I'm going to go see it in the movie theater that makes my ears hurt.
That makes sense. That way you can feel the pain.
Exactly. Anyway, I've been watching on Gavin's recommendation. I picked up Hijack on Apple TV. Excellent show. Like it's really good, and they keep ending it. Gavin, I don't know what's wrong with them. They keep ending it on a cliffhanger every show.
Yes.
Why are they doing this?
You have to wait the week. Yep. It's good.
Oh man, I'm so upset with that one because we were watching some other stuff. And I'm like, I'm just gonna put on the Hijack, the first episode, and then it's like 12:30 at night when it ends. I'm like, I guess we're watching the next one. I was like, yep. So it's like,
I have another recommendation for you too.
what's that?
Special Ops Lioness. If you haven't seen that yet,
Special Ops.
Lioness.
No, have not seen.
Really, 2 episodes out now, and it's really good. It has me hooked.
What's that one about?
Yeah, what's the premise here?
CIA, the terrorism, stuff like that. Like it's really good.
Paramount Plus, it seems to be.
So here's the thing with these streaming services. So we had some friends over on the weekend. We decided to throw on the show. We watched the first 2 episodes. They were hooked. They loved it. Then they were like, okay, where can we watch the rest of it? I said, well, it's on Paramount Plus. They looked at each other and said, we don't have that. We'll just end here. Like it's that bad. Like they just don't know. They're like, we're not going to be able to watch the rest of this, So they enjoyed the 2 episodes they got to see, and I felt bad.
Didn't even want to try to sign up for a trial or anything?
No, they're like, oh, it's not on Netflix. And I was like, no. And they're like, oh.
What is
a
don't
Paramount you have anything
Plus?
else? Yeah, exactly. I said, don't you have Max? They're like, what's that?
HBO Max. Oh, yeah, I've got that.
I was trying to convince a friend to subscribe to Apple TV because they hadn't in a while. And I'm like, basically, just subscribe to it for a month. It's going to be like $5 or $6, and like you can basically binge watch the entire season or series of Ted Lasso. Like that's worth the $6, and then check out Severance and check out Hijack, and there's like all these shows that are on there that are just great shows. Kind of built into that like $6 subscription or whatever it is. Like, yeah, but I could tell like they just weren't going to do it. If it's not on Netflix, it doesn't exist.
Well, I have another new show to talk about. Has anybody seen the new Futurama?
Ooh.
They brought back Futurama.
I have I haven't seen it yet, but the 1 episode out now I saw, and it's queued up.
Yeah, I think that's the only episode out right now. It sounds like all of the original people are there. I haven't looked into it recently at all. I know there was some controversy with Bender not coming back originally, but I think he's back now. So I think everybody's original. It sounds like everybody's back. And it feels like it's just Futurama. It didn't feel like they were trying to make like a brand new show or anything. So we'll see how it progresses, but good so far.
Wait, so like, how did they not have Bender come back? Like the voice, you mean? The voice of the guy that plays Bender?
Yeah. So they had him come back, but originally he wasn't part of the new series.
Gotcha.
And then like a bunch of stink was raised, and they brought him back. So I think the actor wanted more money than they were willing to pay. But you can't have Futurama without the original Bender. I mean, that's almost half the show right there.
Yeah. Well, that would be definitely awkward. Kind of like that guy on Bob's Burger that's probably not going to come back because he'll be in prison.
Jimmy Pesto, yeah.
Jimmy Pesto is in prison. Whoops.
Yeah, and it's so weird because he's not in the show at all. But if you look in the intro, like whenever they start the show or whatever, he's actually in the window. They never took him out of the window shot of the intro, but he's out of everything else. They don't really bring him up or anything, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. That happens when you do that. Whoops.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who'd have thought? Well, cool. I'll have to check out both of those. Special Ops Lioness, Futurama, the new one. Futurama's on Hulu. I don't know if we mentioned that. You can watch evidently I can watch all of Futurama original on Disney Plus and Hulu, which is also kind of a Disney property. Is it Disney? I think Disney owns Hulu.
Yeah, Disney owns Hulu, so.
Well, I don't get it. Like I don't.
And ESPN and Fox and a bunch of other stuff.
Well, maybe one day they'll bring these episodes over and I can just watch them there, or I'll just wait for them to fall off the back of the truck and watch them early. But anyway, we're only a couple of weeks away now from Cedia, from meeting each other. TJ, you and I for the second time in 1 year, and then Gavin for the first time ever, right? It's the first time and only time they're allowing him to travel to the United States. So
he had to get a special visa for this trip. So
I had to wait for that 10-year record, 10 years for the record to clear off. We won't talk about that.
Are you gonna be able to get back into Canada? Or are they gonna let you?
I have ways of getting back in.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the country's premier expert on watering grass now. So like, grass sensors and Gavin, yeah. So like,
Must be friends with Drake. You know, Drake's always getting his friends into Canada.
Exactly. That's who I was going to call.
Got pull some
actually.
strings.
I just want to name drop, but that's who I was.
he wasn't going to say anything. Come on, TJ.
I saw him in the reflection the other day, and I was like, "Is that Drake? That's not Drake."
Drake's everywhere.
He's in the window. Yeah. So like, we're probably, I'm going to say we're going to do a little home tech meetup, probably on the September 8th. So September 8th, around 6:30, 7 o'clock, save the date, I guess. Just kind of like after the show, a get together. We never went like all out with this stuff. It was just kind of like a place to get together after everything ended. Well, keep an eye on the website. We'll have more details there and information there, how you can RSVP, sign up, let us know you're coming, that kind of thing. We put little forms up, and you just put in like name, email, and that kind of thing. We do need a head count on anybody that comes or wants to come. So we can kind of relay that back to the restaurant, and they can put us in the right size room, that kind of thing. So there will be more information. By the time the shows goes up, you should probably see more information on there. And if you're a patron, we'll definitely let everybody know through the hub and on the Patreon thing before the real information goes up. And they can sign up early. Let us know if they're coming. So definitely excited about this.
Come hang out. Gavin's going to be eating some Rocky Mountain oysters, so I'm sure he'll want to share some of them. Split them up.
I've been challenged. It's hard to turn down a challenge, but this one, let's see how it goes.
No, it'll definitely be fun. It'll be my first time in Denver since I was probably a younger kid, early teens maybe. And so I never really got to explore, obviously, because you're just doing whatever your parents are doing. And so we're excited. We're going the Saturday before CEDIA starts. And so we'll go around the outskirts of Denver and go exploring all the national parks and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm ready for an actual vacation. Florida was like, a month ago, Seth?
Yes.
But it didn't really feel like vacation to me. But I feel like that's Florida all the time. Florida never feels like vacation, even though that's where all Ohioans go for vacation. So maybe Denver will actually be nice and relaxing.
Yeah. Well, I was looking. We're not sure on the place we're going to be. I was looking at Casa Bonita, TJ. It's a favorite, and the website has definitely changed. So I don't know. They're selling tickets. Maybe I think you got to buy a ticket.
Casa Bonita.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna be booked out quite a while whenever they do actually open it.
I think if they have opened, I think you're right. Like it's just going to be tons of people.
Oh yeah.
So,
I've definitely got my name on the reservation though. So
just let us know.
Or wait list, I guess I should say.
I'm on the list. If maybe Gavin will get in. He knows people.
I've always wanted to eat a burrito. I watch somebody jump off a cliff and maybe go snorkeling or something like that at the same time. So sounds like Casa Bonita is the place for me.
Oh man, the hype behind this place. It's only like...
It just looks massive. I mean, like, I forget how many staff they had, but they had like thousands of staff, I think, that they have to hire in order to like run the place. It's just like ridiculously large.
They have like 5 things on their menu.
And it definitely went out of business. Like they shut down, and then the creators of South Park bought it because they missed their childhood. So I'm interested to see if it sticks around, but they've put a lot of money into it so far. I think I was reading one article where I was watching one interview with them, and they said they invested like $40 million into it so far.
That's insane. I don't know how they did that, but that is insane.
Because they didn't want to tear anything down. They literally just wanted to restore whatever was there. And they're like, yeah, it could have been, much more cost effective to like tear everything down and rebuild it, but we didn't want to do that. So,
wow.
Yeah. Well, they're hiring right now and here in the entertainment section, they're hiring for theatrical dance, crew as well, immersive performers. I guess that's the people that are diving off puppeteers. So you can, you're going to need to know how to operate a puppet, and wardrobe assistants. And then of course, plenty of, front of house, bar, that kind of thing. And there are dishwasher, cook assistants, cooks, assistant bar managers, all that good stuff. So looks like they're trying to there's actually a security surveillance technician. So if there's anybody yeah.
Maybe I'll move to Denver.
Yeah.
I know they were paying servers $30 an hour, but they weren't doing tips or something. So
yeah, this one's $20 to $24 an hour, and it looks like they basically I don't know what they do.
That's worse than a server. Never mind.
Yeah, it looks like they help find lost children.
I'm sure with that giant building, there's a lot of lost children.
Yeah. You will be downloading same-day video footage and apply it to storage involving incidents of crimes, accidents, lost children's other. Yeah, so that sounds like not the surveillance technician that I thought it was going to be. But yeah, you don't exactly have to work on the cameras. You just have to know how to connect and download to the NVR, which is probably a job in and of itself, honestly. Those NVRs are tricky. All right, well, we got a couple HomeTech headlines, guys. What do you say we get started?
Let's do it.
All right, Eero. Mesh Router Company is launching Eero for Communities, a program that brings its routers to landlord-managed Wi-Fi networks in rental properties. It's kind of cool. Renters can easily log on to the existing Wi-Fi and set up their Eero using an app and access features like Eero Secure, subscription services, Wi-Fi 6, and newer Eero devices are supported. The program is available for single-family rentals and apartment buildings. However, advanced Wi-Fi customization options are very limited, such as setting custom DNS, splitting 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz bands is also something that is not supported right now. I guess that's kind of weird. It's kind of an interesting. This isn't a bad idea. Like there are these big MDU buildings that kind of have like a common internet connection a lot of the times, and we're seeing this more often, like with locks and that kind of things being put in with like your rental. Like the internet's just kind of like a utility that everybody expects to have. Like you get free Wi-Fi through your community or whatever, and you can kind of get in there and make your own password and that kind of thing. This might be a pretty good deal for some people.
Yeah, the free Wi-Fi for residents makes sense, but I think this also positions, depending on how Eero and ultimately Amazon do this, it could position apartment buildings to be internet resellers, right? So maybe they get internet service coming into the building, and then they have these little Eero units throughout the building in each person's unit. And they're just reselling Wi-Fi at that point. So they're actually going to make money on that. I don't know if that's possible in this. I know, other products like Ubiquiti and others have that feature built into it, but it wouldn't surprise me if that comes out at some point, just because it does give apartment managers like a real reason to go with this system. I think most apartments and contractors ultimately probably avoid technology just because it's an extra hassle that like they just don't need to deal with. So there's got to be some reason for apartment building managers to like take this on. And maybe it is, as simple as just giving somebody free Wi-Fi whenever but I would think if you sell this as like, we'll sell you discounted internet for $30 a month or something like that, that'd be a no-brainer for a lot of residents.
And I hope they set this up like everyone. Are they going to like take a main internet incoming and split it to all the people and just throw Eero pucks into their own apartments? Like
that's honestly what it sounds like. Like the way the Eero website looks for this particular product, it sounds like this is more like for ISP partners. So like what they mentioned about Frontier being one of their partners, like Frontier would bring this in, the internet in, and then there would be little Eero devices that are basically always left either in place, like it says, what do they call this thing? It's called service left in place. It means hardware stays in units, reducing operational costs, truck rolls, and on-site technician time. So basically, instead of everybody coming in with their own router and everything, or own router, on access points, that kind of stuff, they just install one for the room or the apartment, and that's what works in that apartment, and your internet service connects up to that. So it's kind of like like TJ, you're saying, like the apartment or community manager or whatever does actually become property manager, does become like almost like the ISP, right? But they're kind of working in conjunction with Frontier, I guess, to turn on and off internet for the property.
Yeah, and ISPs already have this kind of deal anyway. I know like Breeze Line around me, which used to be WoW, they sell Eero with all their systems. So if you want enhanced Wi-Fi, they can monitor and everything just like, any other Eero Pro can. So this type of deal with ISPs already exists, and it looks like they're just building upon that to offer a better service.
It's not something I would not recommend. Like, I think for most people this would be great, but if you're a power user, you lose control, it sounds like, over your network at that point, right? You're going to be now sharing it with the building, kind of like how we set it up in the trailer. I mean, I didn't do that, but but you know what I mean? You're going to be fighting with those people that are going to be streaming 10 devices and killing the network probably at some point.
I don't know about that necessarily though, because Eero is kind of positioning themselves to kind of take this on with like the PoE access points and the gateways and everything like that. So realistically, you could have and each Eero is its own router as well. So realistically, you could have your own actual internet, and not worry about anything. And that would be the best way to approach this. Like my office that I rent out has like publicly accessible Wi-Fi that's free for everybody, but you can literally see everybody's devices on the network, unless you pay for like the higher tier of service. And so hopefully that doesn't happen here, because like at your residence, your internet should just work and you shouldn't have to worry about those problems. But I don't see them having any problem with like segmenting networks and stuff like that. And at that point, they'd probably have multiple incoming lines from the ISP.
Yeah, so I hope they, I'm pretty sure they have it set up right. I'd be more worried about my IoT devices on here and, security issues and stuff like that, right? But we'll see how it goes. But it sounds like a great idea from them, though.
Yeah, and that's my thing, too, is like maybe the landlord can see, the traffic or the content you're watching and stuff like that. That's what I would be concerned about. I mean, I'm sure that there's some kind of safety built into that, but technology companies like this aren't always known for, their advanced safety.
I would think that's probably less. I mean, so there's already like an Eero for pro installers, right? And you get the little dashboard where you can kind of like get in and manage equipment and change. Mm-hmm. You can change, like you basically can set everything up and then kind of like leave it to the customer to pay the bill. And this just seems like an abstraction of that, right? Like it's kind of the same thing, where instead of having like customers linked to an account that's kind of like overseeing and kind of helping and managing them, you have one person that is kind of swapping people in and out of an apartment and letting, like, you could just say reset and that Eero will just be available for the person to set up their own Wi-Fi network access point and everything. It just becomes their own router to the internet. So I don't really think there's going to be a problem with security. I think that if there is, like if a property manager can see what websites you're looking at, I think that's probably going to be like a huge like red flag and one of those things that like gets Amazon a lot of bad press. Like I don't think they would do that. I don't even know what options you have for like the pro installer's dashboard, what that looks like. Maybe there's a little bit more that you can get into, but I think most of the like advanced stuff, like monitoring what websites you're connected to, and that all comes through that Eero. It's like Eero Pro service or whatever it is, like the little add-on, Eero Secure subscription service. Like it gives you the ad blocking, extra security, VPN, all that stuff. So I mean, if you're paying for that, like nobody can tell where you're going anyway because it adds the VPN on, except Amazon. Amazon knows everything now about it.
Yeah, and I sell a lot of Eero myself, so I have access to the pro dashboard, and you can't really see a ton of like in-depth stuff. I mean, I can go in there and change the network and the password and all that kind of normal stuff, but like I can't see like as far as I know, I can't see like top visited websites and stuff like that. So I doubt they bring that to the MDU side of things. I can see like outages and how much you've downloaded and uploaded and that kind of thing, which is like, I guess, very basic and nothing too crazy, but nothing too like intrusive.
Yeah. Firewalla introduced a Firewalla MSP with managed security portal for their MSP partners. And it makes a lot of sense if you're like an MSP that's offering security for people. But basically when you sign in, you're literally seeing every stream for every device going in and out, just like if you actually own the device. Like what you see on the Firewall app as the homeowner is what the MSP actually sees. And when we were talking to them about it, it's like, no, this is too much. Like no integrator needs to know what website somebody's visiting at 9:30 at night. Like this, no, this is not something that needs to happen. So I don't know where they ended up with that, but it was a really cool dashboard that you could just go into if you were doing doing like a full MSP thing, like where you're doing managed service on top of like a bunch of businesses and that kind of thing. Totally perfect for that, but it was too much. It's way too much information to know about somebody's network. It ends up being aggregated to who knows who, working at these MSPs. Not for residential.
Well, and especially most of the time, you don't need it at all. I don't need to know if somebody visited Facebook most frequently.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice for my own personal network, but like, I don't care that a customer visits Facebook 20,000 times.
Right. It makes sense for businesses, right? So like if they may want to block, if there's like a ton of people on Facebook or TikTok all day long and it's a dentist's office, they may want to block that and prevent people from using the dentist office Wi-Fi to getting on social media during the day and, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of advantages to that type of product, like a security related product. When you need that security, but it was the fact that it was like, well, as an integrator, you definitely don't need that much security. that needs to rely it's such an easy system. Like it just needs to lie in the homeowner's hands. They can see what their kids are doing on their net. I don't necessarily need to know that information. So anyway, I don't think that's going to be a problem. It sounds like with Eero, you don't have very much visibility into it like you do with Firewall. And I would say like Ubiquity, kind of the same thing, right? If you set up those, any integrator could dial in, remotely if they have this SSO set up with Ubiquity and they're managing their clients' accounts. If they have the what they call the deep packet inspection or something turned on, you can see where people are going and what they're doing on the internet and like how many places, what device went to what website. So, it's kind of one of those things to kind of keep an eye out for. All right, well, let's move on here. Another story, I guess, from Amazon. Amazon's unveiled its new 2023 Echo Show 5 lineup. Includes a third generation Echo Show 5 with a 5.5-inch touchscreen, improved speakers, and with double the bass, and a faster MediaTek processor, making it 20% faster than the previous version. The device also sports Matter for the home. Yay! Additionally, the Echo Show 5 Kids is designed for children, because you need one. Comes with an Echo Show 5 for kid, not a kid. You probably don't need that, but you need one of these. Let's see. Comes with parental controls, 1.75-inch screen. 1.75-inch speaker system, has a built-in camera shutter and microphone/camera shut-off button for privacy. Includes a 1-year subscription to Amazon Kids Plus for age-appropriate content. Both devices are available for pre-order and will be released on August 8th, 2023. So right around the corner.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Gavin, you going to get one of these Echo's Kids thing? You're going to get one of these kids?
It would look good in your office.
No,
Gavin.
I don't need another one. These are just like incremental updates to their products. So, it's expected, but it's good that they're at least making incremental updates and including many things. So did it say if it's a Matter controller, a Matter border router? That's what I wasn't sure about. Sometimes, when they just say Matter, it's like, what does it support when it comes to Matter?
Yeah.
And that's what just makes it more confusing, because you'll buy a device and it'll be like, oh, it's Matter. They'll just see the label Matter, and then you go try to add a Matter product to it and it doesn't work. And then after all this time, you discover it's a Matter controller and not a border router. And yeah,
it's Matter. It just works. It's Matter.
Okay.
What's the matter with you? So I went to the web page and I searched for Matter. Only one result came up, and it just says smart home device compatibility, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, low energy mesh, and Matter. So no idea.
Okay, well, I think
can't answer that question.
Detail does matter though when it comes to the smart home, I find. So I hope they get clear. Make it a little clearer in the future.
Yeah, because some devices can't connect to it. That's what you ran into a couple shows ago.
Yeah,
right?
I'm still trying to get my head around it, but like Matter controller just allows you to control the devices, I think. And I think the border router allows you to add it to it. And And yeah, when I was playing around with my Alexa and my first Matter over Thread device, I was like, oh, let me just add it, and yeah, it didn't work. And then I found out why later on. I was like, well, I should have looked that up before. But now I have Matter on Home Assistant, so it's still not working properly, but it's working. You can tell I like my Matter, don't you?
One day it'll matter. Speaking of loving Matter, OnVis is set to release its first Matter over Thread enabled product, the OnVis S4 Smart Plug, right there on Amazon too. The third 3 out of 3 for Amazon today. The Smart Plug is compatible with Thread border routers. So there you go, Gavin. If you want to know where this is going.
Okay, excellent. There you go.
they actually give you the information in this, not so much on the Echo page. It provides, doesn't burden Wi-Fi networks with those connections to those devices. So it comes in a single, double, or 4-pack options priced at $19.99, $37.99, and $59.99 respectively. OnVis plans to also launch versions of the S4 Smart Plug for Europe and UK in the coming month, expanding its availability into British smart home users. That's pretty cool.
It matters. That's all I got.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess congratulations, OnVis. You matter this week.
I've never even heard of OnVis. Do they make anything else? Anybody ever heard of them? So is it like another company that's just parading as, a new company?
No, they've been around, I think, for a while. I've heard of them before. I don't know, like sometimes I would say they're not a big company and find out that they're in like 50 million units or something like that. But they've been around.
They have a HomeKit security camera.
Ooh.
iCloud storage, yeah.
Yeah, look at their website. They have several devices.
They have the same stock photo of the house with all the RGB LEDs in it that everyone else on the planet uses. I think it's in at least 90% of the smart home companies use this stock photo of whatever modern house.
Do we use that one as well?
We have a very similar photo that we used and maybe still use on the website for HomeTech that got years ago. It doesn't show any RGB lights, but it looks very similar to this, the style of home. But I can't swear. Judging by where the pool is on this one, I can't swear it's the same one. So funny stuff. Anyway, go OnVis. Yay, you matter. They've got a smart motion sensor too. They've got quite a few things on their website. Sensors. They've got a switch. They've got some LED chameleon light strips. So they've got quite a bit going for them. Still never heard of them.
Never heard of them.
All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found on our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/445. All right, guys, we have a pick of the week this week. This one's fun. It's entitled Mr. Coffee Bot, Make Me a Coffee. No, not like that. And this is a video you just have to watch. This is a real product. Someone made this coffee maker.
LG made this. Which makes it even better. It's not going to work at all then, or for very long.
It just has to work a couple times and to relieve itself, and then.
Yeah, I was reading that it's like even more wasteful than like the traditional coffee or the pod coffee machines too, is because I think it uses 2 pods in order to make its coffee for some reason, and so now instead of 1 pod, you have 2 pods.
Oh, when it boots up, you don't know if you're going to get a number 1 or number 2 pod. And when you see the pick of the week, you will understand that joke, I guess.
Yeah, well, so I guess we'll kind of describe this. I guess this is...
it's R2-D2 leaking oil underneath them. That's what it looks like.
It's I guess it's called the Duobo coffee maker. It combines 2 coffee pods for an out-of-this-world homebrew. It's interesting. I guess... according to the story that I'm reading here, that it's drawing inspiration from the Apollo 11 moon landing. So picture the Apollo lander that we all know and love that has little feet that come off of it, and this one's got 3 of them.
Just leaking oil everywhere.
Well, it's blasting off. It's blasting off for your day. So yeah, I guess you load the coffee in the top and the water in the top, and then like it kind of just squats down and puts the coffee in your cup. So.
It's not a very elegant solution to coffee, Oh.
This is so it's also a Kickstarter. It only had a $5,000 goal. It's got $103,000. I'm gonna have to back this. I really don't now.
Don't pack it, Seth. Think of all the government auctions you can participate in.
Whoa, $399? I don't think so. I don't think so. $400 for a Squatty coffee maker?
The Squatty coffee.
Oh man, yeah. This is weird. It's the first. This is what they have on their little Kickstarter. It's the first coffee machine that blends 2 shots. Okay, it's got that going for it. It's got a smart app. Of course, it uses a smart app. Why not?
Does it matter?
It's got visual. I don't know. I'll find out in a second. It's compatible with all original capsules. I don't know. It's supposed to be whoever makes this. Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna just do a search for Matter though. Matter does show up, but it's not. It says we decided to take matters into our own hands
and make our own smart home platform.
With Squatty coffee. Yeah, this is something to look at. If you want to see the video, we'll include a link to it in the show notes. Yeah, it looks like it uses Nespresso pods. That's what it looks like. I really do want one of these though. Like, I just can't. I can't fathom paying $400 for this coffee. This is the MSRP on this thing is $7.99,
and it uses twice as much coffee, Seth. So I mean, your coffee bill is going to skyrocket.
That's a feature. That's not a problem.
Yeah, it's called buying a regular coffee machine. That's what it is. What problem is this solving? That you don't visualize your robot peeing into your coffee in the morning?
Yeah, it's not pee. It's clearly something else. Well, it had a busy night last night, and it's got an upset tummy. Oh man, this is something to see. I can't believe this is a product, but it is.
Well, just like every other LG product, it'll stop working within a year or two. So don't spend a lot of money into it.
And I think the designer knew what he was doing when he put this together.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
I'd love to see the interview.
Talking about this.
I'd love to see the interview where he talks about his inspiration for the design.
There's more ways that you could have made this to work this exact way without making it squat over the top of your cup.
I mean, the designer's inspiration was obviously Star Wars, because it looks like R2D2.
It's got some similarities.
Similar profile and everything, you know. Hopefully it'll talk to me. That'd be nice.
Oh, it's got a display on the bottom of it. What in the world?
Ooh, like a heads-up display?
It's got a 10.1-inch IPS display that goes underneath it. No wonder this thing costs $80.
Why do we need a display?
Why do you need a display for it? No, just make coffee. Oh, man. That is so weird. All right, well, now I understand. It's got a TV below it, that it's a touchscreen. Runs on Android.
Somebody will buy it.
Well, one of these days, if you've bought one of these coffee machines, let us know. And when it fails, you can send it to me, and I'll put it in the museum. This is amazing. All right. Let's move on here. If you have any ideas for the show, weird coffee makers you'd like to share with us, questions, comments, or picks of the weeks, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or visit HomeTech.fm/feedback, and you can fill out the online form. We're going to have a short show tonight, right? No, we're not. We got, Gavin's back. He has been, since he didn't have to record a show last week, I think he's just been busy doing 3D printing. And last week, before we got on, Gavin's like, I have so much 3D printing news to share with you guys. And I'm so sad I can't be on the show. And I was like, all right, we'll get it next week. Now there's even more Gavin 3D printing project updates on here. So Gavin,
I don't have a lot.
What's going on with your 3D printing world?
Oh, no. It's like I got the 3D printer. I'm loving it. I got my Prusa. It's been great. It hasn't failed me once yet. I ran out of filament, ordered more filament. That's going to be a topic of the week every week, is I ordered more filament, so
you got to have the different colors and everything too.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have multiple color. I even ordered filament storage bags so they don't, suck up moisture and
get rusty.
Exactly. So, it's been going nonstop. I bought it a little home, so it's now in the basement, so we can't hear it. It's nice and warm. It can print all night long. We don't have to worry about it. I wake up, print's done, and I've just been printing so many things. A lot of, it's amazing, projects out there, but I've been printing, a lot of, wall mounts, and it's great because you see the cost of you printing it out is $1, but when I go on like Amazon, it'll be like a $20 mount, right? So it's like it's starting to justify itself in a way. It's I got to print out a few hundred more wall mounts, but that's all right. It's just the whole 3D printing world has been very interesting, and just learning how to do things. So going from utilizing the slicer to laying out things to print, and all the issues you can have with printing. I've actually just now been playing. I'm now started to work in Tinkercad, which is like a design software. It's a web-based design software. So now I'm actually creating objects in 3D to print out, and I'm going to get into that project soon. But the whole 3D printing world, it's so cool. I'm kind of happy I got into it now, because of where it's at now versus where it was maybe 5 years ago. So if you're looking to get 3D printing, spend the money and, just have some fun.
Spend the money, have some fun, spend more money.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
I saw you got a little bag for him. What's the bag over his head for? What'd you do?
Oh, no, that's its home. You see, unlike your robots, I treat mine nice, right? So I bought him a little home. He has a zip up front. It keeps him warm. It keeps the dust out of it. Right?
It's a dust cover, like for the record players.
Yeah, but it does a little bit more than that. It's like insulated. It's kind of like an Uber Eats bag. That's the best way. That's the best way I can explain it, right? Because it has the silver internal lining and everything like that.
I have a pizza bag just like that.
Exactly. And honestly, it only cost me like $60, and it was a great investment, because I noticed from day one when I first put it in there, you zipped it up, the temperatures and everything were more unified, which made the printing come out that much better. It made a huge difference, right? So if you got a printer, throw it in a little Uber Eats bag, zip it up, and let it print away.
Yeah, with that you don't have to worry about the drifts or anything like that too. Because if you do a lot of 3D printing, you know that not every print works out how you thought it was going to work out.
Yeah.
But one of the most annoying things is when you come back and like one of the corners of your print has raised up, which then throws off the rest of the print. And then depending on what you're trying to use it for, like that print is now useless. So that cover helps prevent that as well.
Exactly. The community has been great when it comes to these kind of problems, outlining how to fix them, etc. In terms of home automation, the printer is hooked up. I printed a 3D camera mount, and now I have a camera mounted to the printer, and it does time-lapse video, and I can check in on it without having to go all the way to the basement. I can see what's happening. Is it working? Has it crashed? Etc. And then when it's finished printing, it actually notifies me. Home Assistant, there's an integration with Home Assistant and Octoprint. So I actually have it plugged into my Unraid server, and I have Octoprint running on a Doctor, and Octoprint basically manages everything with the printer. So from the slicer, I could just send it straight to Octoprint. It just starts printing, does all these fancy stuffs. I have all these plugins, that are doing various things, and I can see the live feed of it, and that's actually really cool because I have it in the basement, just in the corner of the basement, and I don't have to keep running down there and say, "Hey, did it crash?" or anything like that. It hasn't crashed on me yet, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, the Octoprint is like really cool. It's like basically the Home Assistant of 3D printer world, I would say, just because you can download a lot of different plugins. Like one of my favorite was the spaghetti detector, which determines through the camera interface if like your print doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like, and it'll actually stop the print so that way you don't waste any filament. Because you can technically recycle a lot of the filament, but I don't know about you, Gavin, but I know in my area there's not really anybody that does that, and so you're basically just throwing it away. I know you can buy the machines for it and stuff like that, but they're usually pretty expensive, and the process to like get it back to filament isn't hard by any means, but it's just very time consuming.
So yeah, and the other cool thing with Octoprint, it kind of brings your machine onto the network, right? So these machines don't have network ways to connect to them through the network, but once you have Octoprint working, it's now your kind of like your proxy to the machine. So when you send the print over the network, it goes through Octoprint, it takes care of everything from there. So it's now online. So no, it's really fun. I've been following a 3D printing community on Mastodon, and they've been very helpful. It's just hashtag 3D printing or at 3D printing. Follow them. They got a lot of information they're constantly posting. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. Like it's been a fun ride.
And Octoprint, I thought the way you were describing it must be a spooler or something, but no, it does like temperature monitoring,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff on here with these little dashboards, and you can like TJ was saying, you can kind of see if something's gone awry and it'll stop. That's really neat.
It basically becomes the interface to the printer.
Yeah.
He doesn't say it connects via USB to the printer most of the time, and that way you get all the normal stats you would, the print time left and temperatures and all that fun stuff. So it's really a cool software feature that you don't have to pay for. You just have to have a little computer or whatever for it to run.
Yeah, it's open source. So yeah, and uses the GPL license, which means no one can ever make any money off of it. So it's always going to be open source. So yeah, that's really neat. I just kind of going through and looking at all the screenshots they have here. It's like, man, there's a lot of info you can get off this thing. That's wild. Cool. Do you have to does it like basically support any 3D printer out of the box, or do you have to like hack the 3D printer to make it work?
No, a lot of them it supports out of the box. Like you don't have to do anything, but it doesn't support every printer. And there's no like firmware changes or anything. You literally just plug it in.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Still I'm not going to get anywhere near a 3D printer. I can tell you that. Like, it's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
It's a bad idea.
You don't have time for that.
You don't have any time anyway.
Like,
so.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I did any of this stuff, like, I would get so caught up in like tinkering. Like, I would get caught up in one of these steps. Like, Gavin, you're talking about, like, going in. What was that? The software, MakerCAD or whatever it is.
Oh, Tinkercad. Yeah. Like, I would just get lost in that. That would just be like an entire 6 months of me playing with that. Like, just solid. Like, like, oh, did you print anything? No, but I'm playing with this 3D modeling software. Look at this. So you see,
yeah.
my way of approaching this stuff is I find a project or something I want to accomplish, and then I do it. And that's how I learn the product, right? So I may do the same thing 5 different ways, but at least I learned the differences, the best ways to do it, how to use the software. And, I got something in the end that I want to get done.
So, oh wait, I missed one. You've been automating your shutters. Is that what your project is that you picked?
Yeah. So, just to back that up a bit, on Prime Day, one of the things I picked up was a SwitchBot blind tilt. And it was just because it was cheap. It can integrate with Home Assistant, I had a Bluetooth adapter, etc. So I grabbed one and it came in and I set it up on my blinds. And, for my quick rough review of this, it's not as big as I thought it was. It's not as ugly as I thought it was. And it works. So I had one specific blind that I just wanted to open and close at certain times. And it works, and that's all I can say about a product. I don't think it's that ugly. And it still lets you utilize the blinds the normal way. Like, it doesn't take it over. You can still open and close it just by turning the wand. And it works pretty well. The installation was a little confusing at first, but once you do one, anytime after that will be much easier. So I was kind of looking at that and I was saying, hey, I could use this for, say, automating my shutters, right? And, I was just looking at it. I was like, I got a 3D printer. I can print out some gears and clips and, so yeah, that I've been playing around with this over the last week. And at this point, I got the gear insert that will go right into the SwitchBot blind tilt. And then I've been designing some designs, and I shared a few with you guys, but those were like versions 1, 2. It was like, like Elon Musk launching his rockets into space. They were all crashing and failing. But right now I have, I'm on version 4 that feels a lot more promising. I've designed the clip on the shutter. It fits nicely. I've actually just sent off the print for the gearboxes to my printer. So once I get to play with all that and I put it through some just holding and testing and stuff like that, then I'll start to finalize those prints. But, I've been talking with others doing similar things, and they've come up with some really elaborate designs for theirs. And I'm just like, no, I'm not getting that far into it, right? I just want something simple, gearbox, clip, and then throw it on my shutters and, go from there. So that's one thing I've been working on. And this is one of the examples of what 3D printing opens up to you. Is you look at projects differently now. You can go online and you just look for gears and you see everybody that's printed all these gears and you can edit them and tweak them and resize them to, the ratios you want and do a project. And that's what I'm having fun with.
I think the proper saying is, now that you have a hammer, every project is a nail.
There you go. Yeah. Works for me,
Just don't be like a normal engineer. Just don't over-engineer everything. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I've seen some over-engineered stuff, and I've been trying to dumb it down, and and you start to get into it's weird, but you start to get into reading things about gears and gear ratios, and and stuff like that, and you're like, wow. And the wife looks at me sometimes, and sometimes I go on ChatGPT and I'll say, hey, explain to me gear ratios or something like that. And it's a long paragraph comes out and she's like, what the hell are you reading? I'm like, don't worry. You'll appreciate it when those blinds open and close on their own, so
very nice.
it takes me into other fields of engineering. I'm next thing you know, I'll be back at taking college courses or something like that.
Yeah. And 3D CAD modeling and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, it does sound like a lot of fun. I'm kind of like, I kind of want to cut the middleman, which is me, out and just say, I just want to buy it. At this point, and then I won't put it in, just like this level lock. I'm not going to put it in. Maybe I could 3D print something to make the level lock where it's got to go down, some gears to go in there with the level lock. And then that way, when you turn the door, a flip switch and on the inside of the door, it actually kind of goes down and under the level lock. So I don't know.
See, that's the mindset of a 3D printing enthusiast. We can fix anything.
Start making your list now, so that way Gavin can bring it in a month when he meets up with everybody.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I'll take this. I'll take 2 of these, 3 of these.
Oh man, that's too good. I did have one other, my big project for this week. I think we talked about it a little bit last week. Was fixing an air conditioning problem, and I thought I was going to have to get in the attic for. And I did get up in the attic, but it was kind of like one of those all day projects, right? Where you're going to start investigating. I looked over here, looked over there. I forgot that I had this flare system set up. The vent things where you have all your vents and everything. And I've got 3 vents and 3 sensors in the house. And plus the Ecobee, which is kind of the main part of the house. So I was using that to kind of look at where it was hot. I'm like, yeah, it is kind of hot in the master bedroom area. It's kind of hot over here. Why isn't this working? And so I went to the air conditioning unit. I'm like, oh yeah, the box that connects to the air conditioner is actually just blown off. It was blowing cold air into the laundry. The laundry room was really cold. I'm like, this isn't good. So I got a bunch of parts and pieces and put all that back together, and then got to go around the house and kind of realized that I may have had the flare system kind of set up wrong, and that's probably why it wasn't working optimally. The little pucks that you can get, which are their temperature sensor and humidity sensors, work a whole lot better if you turn them into Wi-Fi mode than if you just use their radio mode. And I put all 3 of the sensors that I have on Wi-Fi, and it had a couple of range issues with one that was clear across the house in the master bedroom. And now there are no more range issues. And it actually, some of the feature sets changed too. It will give you how you can set on some thermostats where you can set the calibration where, you let it warm up or whatever. And then you can get a thermometer in the room and check to make sure it's the same temperature. With just running off batteries, it lets you kind of go under by X amount of degrees, but with the batteries in there, you can actually go over. I don't know what the difference is or why it works that way, but I was able to adjust up a couple of degrees in one of the rooms because it wasn't matching just right. So doing that, I got everything kind of balanced out, and I can say I haven't had any complaints yet. I did notice on Flair's website though, that they have updated their product line. And they have support for square vents now, which I have 2 12-inch square vents in the middle of my house that they're the main vents. They're just the main vents to the main rooms. And now I'm going to have to buy those.
Yeah, you need those.
Yeah. Because what happens is we're not in the main part of the house. We're in the exterior part we're pushed out to the edges, right? And that's that's where the walls are that get warmed up during the day, and that's where the heat is. So that's where you want the air to go. But right now there's just these big air duct vent things just dumping into the middle of the house, getting it cold, nice and cold when nobody's in there at night. And then where we're sleeping, daughter's on one side, we're on the other. Like it's hot. So if I can just open those up full and then close the other ones down and don't, say we don't really care what's going on in the living room and the dining room and that kind of thing at night. It'll push the air out through the other vents. And I know there's like some balancing thing. This thing does all that. Like you can't force it to shut down more than X amount of percentage of vents that it has. So it does have the safety checks built into it. But at least doing that, I might be able to get some of the colder air to move out to the other parts of the house rather than just freeze out the living room, because it doesn't need to go there.
Yeah, it's very important. Like you said it yourself, but they have safety checks in products like these, right? And when people start hacking together solutions for I don't mess with my HVAC when it comes to hacking together solutions, just because Ecobee has a bunch of safety checks in there to ensure that temperatures don't do certain things, right? And you probably won't get that in your code or remember to put that in your code or even know that's something you should be checking on to ensure your pipes don't freeze in the middle of winter or something like that, right? So these type of things, I leave it up to third parties for them to do it right and get, certified and properly. But I don't like to mess with hacking stuff like this, because at one point I was thinking of doing something similar, but on the main ducts and controlling those with little motors and stuff. But then, you have to really sit there and think about it. You're like, no, that could be dangerous.
Yeah. I guess there's one option here that I can set. I can make the room sensor. There's an Ecobee room sensor, and I can make the room active or not. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I still need those vents, so I'm gonna have to get the vents. They come out in September, so I'm hoping at CEDIA we'll have them. I'll be able to show them at the show, but the big ones like the 12 by 12 and the 10 by 10. But if not, I'm gonna have to get them.
This is my first. So this is my first CEDIA. Do they actually sell things there?
No.
Okay, good. Whew.
I mean, just last minute deals like Seth.
Turns out,
yeah.
It depends on who you ask.
So maybe if I hang around the Flair booth when they're closing and packing up, and they just say we just don't want to take these back, I'll say I'll take them.
No, they actually won't be there. We're the only ones that sell them. So
okay.
I should have a couple at least, because we wrote an integration for it embarrassingly a couple of years ago, and I forgot that we didn't. I thought we put it on the website for sale. And somebody wrote in the other day a ticket, and they're like, "Hey, where's that integration you promised 2 years ago?" I'm like, "Oh, it's
wow,
it's not on the website." I've been using it in my house for a long time. Why aren't you?
Works for me.
Works for me, exactly. So I'm gonna have to get that up and going before we hit CEDIA. So no, the most of the manufacturers there probably won't resell stuff, but there may be a couple of on the edges that may not want to carry their 3,000 pound TV back to China, and they'll sell it to you for a really good price. It's funny. One of my vendors that we have has the same TV, so I like it. It must be OEM'd over there somewhere, but it's the same TV, but they have it in an 86-inch version. And they were trying to sell it to us and make a deal, and I'm like, like 86 inch, it's absurd. That would be the largest Home Assistant dashboard ever. TJ, do you have any projects going on? Or what's going on in your life?
Oh, nothing project wise. That's fun. At least I've got a drainage issue I'm trying to fix in the backyard that I've been posting in the back channel. I probably shouldn't have opened that can of worms, to be honest. It's just progressively getting worse, but you gotta tackle it at some point. So maybe that'll get done at some point. Been very busy with work. I'm booked out 3 to 4 weeks at the moment, so that's getting kind of crazy. So I think I'm on the verge of actually hiring somebody.
Wow.
So that's
right in time to go to CEDIA.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
And then, I have a technology festival going on this weekend. So there's a technology coalition group that's based in Columbus for, IT staff and developers and website designers, all that kind of fun stuff. And so I'm a sponsor at the event this weekend, so we will be there all day Saturday selling beer. So
I have to ask, does this conflict with the Paw Paw Festival?
I was thinking the same.
Wow. This is like legitimate too. I can't believe I'm getting flack for this one, you know?
I was thinking about the Pawpaw.
It does not conflict with the Paw Paw Festival.
What is the Pawpaw Festival?
I honestly don't know. You guys talk about the Paw Paw Festival more than I do.
Because we've heard about it from you when you went to it last. Jeez.
Yeah, that was like last year. Come on, get a new topic.
Ohio Paw.
I think what we're gonna have to do
Friday, September 15th. So right after we get back from Cedia, we'll be heading there.
Nice.
All right, Gavin. Clear your books. Get your passport warmed back up. We're going to Ohio Paw Paw Festival the week after Cedia.
Yeah, you might as well just go. Come on. Since you didn't get any Paw Paws last year, Gavin, you snoozed. You waited too long. You didn't get any, and so now you got to travel to Ohio.
It's such a short window that when we tried to get the Paw Paws last year, it was like we finally found a place on like Thursday, but we couldn't pick it up till Saturday. And they're like, it's not going to last that long. Right?
Yeah, they like expire very quick. So you like shortly after you pick them, you basically have to eat them.
Yeah, so we're gonna try it earlier this year because we really want to try a pawpaw.
Well, get on it. Well, it does sound fun. That it's gonna hang out and drink beer. It sounds like that kind of festival. Maybe not the Paw Paw one, but like definitely the technology festival.
Yeah, and for the technology festival, we get beer for wholesale pricing. So I might walk away with 2 or 3 or 5 cases of beer. So we'll find out.
Nice.
I think the wholesale pricing for like 24 beers is like $1.50 each or something. So I mean that's basically nothing.
Clear your van out before you go. Just like
that's right. I'll take all the leftover because we're only buying what we actually use. So I'll just take all of it.
Take all the pack outs out and just load up before you leave. Yeah.
You guys sold all the beer? Yep.
Yes, we did.
Sure did.
That's too good. All right. I think that's going to wrap up this week. We do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our private site Chat the Hub and advanced information on where we're going to have our little HomeTech get together, HomeTech meetup 2023. It's going to happen. So, be there, be square, right? If you want to help out the show but can't support financially, I just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on Home Tech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.